Okay, so please make your own decisions. Feel your own need to evolve and time yourself on that, okay? And never start believing that because you're studying with me that you have to go fast, or it's you need to do stuff and you have to do all the mala process or the meditation, because we're going to do lots of meditation today, and we're going to do ego recognition. We're going to do tons of stuff that you don't have to do it, okay? I don't want to do any pressure marketing to prove to you that you have to do it, okay? If you don't have the passion to do it on your own, you won't become a master, okay? Which is very different from many other spiritual approaches I've seen, where the group hangs on together and everyone is encouraging everyone else to come, and they do this marketing thing where actually the master or the guru or the teacher will have a maximum of students because they're all pressuring themselves, and if one starts not to come, he's going to be rejected, okay, or stuff. This is bullcrap, okay? I say to people, if you don't feel like coming, don't come. What I want is students that are solely driven by passion. The only reason they are there is because they want it. There's no marketing scheme. There's no pressure from the spouse or the friend. There's only, I really want to be there. Actually, you fight to come. Sometimes you need a lot of passion just to arrange your life and go through various levels of trials to say, well, I'll be there. So this entrains you in passion. Passion will make you become a master. Yes? So this has to be your motivation. So I'm using this to teach you. Okay? I'm not making your life go wrong just before a seminar. You are. Okay? But you see, you resolve it and you're here because there's only one person that thought that he could be here maybe, and he's not. Okay? He doesn't have the passion, so accept it. Now, if you ever see someone not present at a seminar that you're used to see him, don't judge him. Don't judge these people. Okay? If for any reason you cannot come, make peace with it. Okay? Usually, as you advance, it will take you more passion to be in the presence of higher wisdom, and higher wisdom. And yesterday, it took some humility sometimes, to all of you different times ago, just to be humble and accept the teaching that was coming, because it was different than your usual mindset. And sometimes you're confronted to stuff. Like I was arguing in Sheila Thursday evening, trying to prove that, well, it's normal to act this way. And I said, yes, it's normal to act this way. It's also normal not to be enlightened, and it's normal to suffer. You want to stay normal. How about changing your mindset? But you don't have to do it. But I just suggest you this mindset. If something disturbs you, you have to resolve it. I said, well, yeah, okay. So something disturbed her, and she was arguing about the fact that it should not. And I was trying to get her to the point where if something disturbs you, it doesn't matter if you should sneeze a good shot now. Okay, I mean, concentrate. You want Kleenex? Shoot her the box. Blow your nose something. God. Okay, but I mean, you got options, all right? Don't do this while in meditation.
Green clam might be an option here.
What?
The green clam.
Yeah. Yeah, the argument was about the big green clam on the boardwalk when someone spit and you feel it's gross. And instead of arguing that someone should not have spit on the boardwalk to disgust you, you should actually pay attention to the fact that it is disgusting you, and you might want to resolve the issue so you'll never be affected by something gross again. Okay, that was our issue. Okay, that was a big thing, but it went out to death penalty, and we spoke of a lot of stuff. That every type of biological fear that you can have, resolve it. Okay, if you hate walking at the bottom of a lake because it's too gooey, go there, feel it. Don't hurt yourself. But go through these experiences that proves that nature has power over you. You're afraid of blood, go give it and look at the needle while it comes in, and just pay attention to be conscious of everything and say, wow. and integrate that, okay? But don't hurt yourself. Do stuff that will not hurt you, but do stuff that if you auto self-provoke fears that are not really hindering you, do it, okay? Like if you're afraid of speed and you climb to 100 miles an hour on the highway because you want to resolve your fear of speed, you might actually kill yourself, so don't do this, okay? Try a roller coaster that is certified to be safe, okay? I mean, take safe options to trial yourself, right? Okay, even great masters, they don't play with life and death situations, okay? But they find ways to, I mean, I was afraid of elevated place, well, I was afraid of very, very, very strong winds in elevated place. So I went to the top of mountain. I did not go on the side of the cliff to prove to me that I could, I mean, the wind was strong, so it could have just went and killed me. My ego could find a way to stop it, to stop my existence. Okay, I don't want to face this, so I'm gonna kill myself right now, so I'll have to start over again. Okay, don't do this stupid stuff. Okay, like extreme sports. Some people do various extreme sports that are filled with safety devices, but jumping naked in a pool filled with acid and razor blades to discover your fear biology is not wise. Okay, so find a threshold of safety. Okay.
Acid, razor.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
make this stuff up.
What? What did you say?
You can't make this stuff up.
Okay, so it's nice to understand these various things about the fact that you're free. Okay, and most of the time, life brings you trials. You don't really need to push yourself into them. Okay, you just push yourself into them when you will want to go faster. And there's another method to go faster. There's a series of mantra that will accelerate your evolution. What it does, it takes everything you didn't resolve inside, it pushes it in nature. So now you start to see all kinds of stuff. But I mean, your life goes to hell for a while.
What's that mantra?
Yeah.
You want that mantra? It will never be recorded. So later on, you have to be at a seminar, and I won't show it to everyone. Okay? Because just knowing about it has an effect. Okay. So I was told to do it from time to time, and I just did 1 minute and 2 minutes, and it was okay. And stuff happened, and then I started doing it like half an hour every day. And that is how we go to walk in hell. Everything possible that can go wrong does at the same time. So having to stay awake for an entire week to resolve everything, I've done that. Well, I did have a 7-hour nap in the middle, but I mean, 2 shots of 72 hours is good on your nervous system when you need to sustain yourself on soul, or else even more stuff will go wrong. You know, this is the kind of stuff you want to do when you really get there, but not now. And not in your training field.
Not
Okay.
so much.
You don't want to find stuff that go wrong in your training field. You want to make sure everything goes fine. Okay, so you find a way to balance yourself out. There's a student that wanted to accelerate his evolution. I said, do 1 minute. He started doing half an hour. His life went to hell. It took 1 week. Okay, don't do that until you're ready to go there. But you can accelerate your evolution by wanting it. Okay, and usually when stuff comes to you, it comes in little waves, and if you integrate little waves, you'll never have big stuff. But when you're in your arrogance and you don't want to deal with the little wave because you're in denial, you don't want to see them, the waves get stronger because you're packing them up, and eventually there's a tsunami that just wipes you entirely. Then you want to avoid that. Okay? So what prevents you from integrating your stuff? We have a reflex in our ego called denial, right? What are the 3 denials? Terry?
Pride, fear,
The one you are stuck with? Shame?
shame, guilt.
Okay, shame. Okay, guilt is an emotion, shame is a reaction. Okay? So we have pre-programmed software that was there to ensure our survival for quite long. So it's good. And it's also preventing you from enlightening. Okay? It's like version 0.9 beta. It's the unrefined, the unrefined software where nature is not just there yet. So, fear, shame, pride. You should write this down. Not everyone, because you'll have a video, but those who love to take notes, take them. Okay. We could have set up the projector with your image, but now it's too late. No. We'll speak about it. You got it? So the 3 denials, and we talked about that in the conquering drama. Conquering drama. You don't conquer dharma. Sorry about that. Conquering drama. Okay. Recognize your denials. Very important. Denial is what will make you not want to see the next little wave. It becomes better, so you have to be better at denial. And very, very proud people, just look at them go when their life crashes. It's these titanic waves that come over them. You know, people are extremely ashamed, always suffer great consequence of their great shame, where most people are just normally ashamed, as it is normal to be. Okay. Some people are very afraid. They develop nervous system and habits of locking their door 3 times, and these psychotic sociopath behaviors. No. So, fear, shame, and pride are hiding emotions. 3 emotions, you know about them: abandonment, rejection, and guilt. Breathe deeply. Keep your pen. Don't hide it. I'm going to ask you to breathe about 100 times while you take notes and do it. Okay. Breathe. Eyes open, stay conscious. Don't transcend. Okay? Because the ego will help you transcend when you try to stay here. Especially when you're gonna find out it's traps. Okay? You're gonna go like, oh, that energy was so intense. No, you were fleeing like shit. Well, energy is intense. Okay? I'm just slowly cranking because you just had a good night's sleep, and I want to put you in this in a funny, happy way. So, emotions: abandon, rejection, and guilt. To cover up these emotions, you play a role. Theatrical role. The 3 roles of the ego. Victim, savior, persecutor. Breathe. To operate in these roles, you use various tools. The 3 tools of the ego: power, control, manipulation. You try something by force, you will blow me. And she doesn't. Let's say. I'm taking the very gross and disgustful example because it's what will make you react. Now, the guy tried something like power, doesn't work. I'll try control. Yes, you will. If it works, well, it works. If it doesn't work, then it'll go to manipulation. Oh, come on. Now, women try to overpower males sometimes. Doesn't work. Ah! Oops. You gotta find a new way. I'm gonna control my man. most of the time it still doesn't work. So you become so good at manipulation. Okay. It's your expertise. Most of the time the first option works with men, power. So you have men addicted to power. Weaker men are addicted to control. And only a few of them are very good at manipulation. Everyone manipulates, but only a few men are good at it. Women are all good at manipulation. Of course. Nature wants it that way. To make sure you survive. Okay? Okay, so that's starting to make you react. So, there are 3 more steps, but I'm gonna wait here, okay? Find a situation where you use power, control, manipulation. Find a situation lately, okay? In the last 2 years or 5 years.
One.
Inside you, okay? You did this. Is it because you felt you were a victim? Is it because you were a savior? Is it because you wanted to persecute? What are the 3 roles? Okay? Find it. Was it not to feel abandonment, rejection, or guilt? Find it. Go feel it. Which emotion?
Can it be more than one?
It's always 3, but there's 1 that comes out. If you found 2, it's good. How did you manage not to see it when it happened? Was it pride, shame, or fear? What made it for you not to see it at this time, but now you're processing it? At this time, were you in a state of fear, shame, or pride? So you see, in each area of the ego, the system, in each of the 7 components of the ego, the system will find a path. Okay, attachment here to this, so I'll have this need, so I'll build an expectation to use a tool and play a role and produce an emotion I'll deny. Okay, and you just have this big setup, and you have a path. Okay, and in each of the 7 components, there are 3 ways to react. Okay. So you got that? You just tried it? Well, you started from the point of you manipulated. What did you do? Okay. Sometimes you're stuck with an emotion, you don't know where it comes from. So you start from the emotion. Are you in a state of fear, shame, or pride? And from the emotion you also go, what role am I playing? Victim, savior, persecutor. And from there you try, okay, and what tool am I using? Is it control? Manipulation? Power? Okay. And what's my goal in there? Why am I doing this? Okay? 3 goals. Acquire, accumulate, attain. Let me explain those. Acquire is something is not mine, I make it mine. Accumulate is more. Attain is $1 million. I'm gonna reach this objective.
Goal.
Okay? It's a goal to attain. Okay. But these are the 3 goals. Okay, I want what do you want? Okay? The goal of the ego. Well, the goal of the ego is to, I'm gonna tell you afterwards. Why do we have an ego? I'm gonna tell you afterwards. It'll be fun. Now, in between these goals that I just defined, they are the needs of the ego. Okay, goals or needs. Okay, sometimes I say goals, sometimes I say need. Okay, in between the tools, control, power, manipulation, and the needs, there's a reflex there. Okay, there's an expectation. We build expectations based on I need to attain. I have an expectation based on I need to accumulate more, have more attention. Sometimes you accumulate is more attention, more attention, more attention. More boxes of this, more boxes, and you go to some people with like 100,000 rolls of toilet paper in case they lack. You know these people that just accumulate stuff. Like they already have enough pots to put their food on, but they have 11 trucks filled with all these old 50-year-old pots. The cover don't even fit anymore because they're used. Okay. Okay, a lot of dramas. Okay, so the expectations, okay? Who remembers? Huh? Oh, I'll read it.
False hope.
False hope.
Over certainty.
Over certainty.
Egocentrism.
Egocentrism. Okay, so false hope. I'm happy you took good notes. Okay, cool. Over certainty and pure basic egocentrism. False hope is, oh, I hope he loves me. You have an expectation. Oh, I hope everything will be fine. You have an expectation. Okay? It's not prudence, as in making sure everything goes fine. It's fear that it might not and hope it will. So you're combating yourself. You're afraid it won't go fine, and you push more false hope. So you have an expectation, and when it doesn't work out, you're just destroyed because your expectation caused so much deception. Okay, this is false hope. Over certainty. Oh, I was sure that was my place. Taking for granted. And egocentrism, which is different. I knew it was your place, I didn't care. That's mine now. Okay? Pure egocentrism is not even, oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was like mine. It's like a fantasy, like in false hope, but you just convince yourself of a certain thing that is taken for granted. It's in the mind, I was certain my parents loved me. It's normal to expect that your parents will love you. And some people find out that their parents don't give a shit. And so, well, it's normal to expect your parents to love you. Of course it's normal to expect your parents to love you. And expectation brings suffering. The proof is you find out it's not, they don't love you and you suffer. Of course it's normal to expect. Stop being normal. This is very difficult for someone who was rejected by their parents. To say, I simply have to mourn the expectation and accept that I was not meant to be loved by my parents. You are never born meant to be loved by your parents. It's just that most of the time it happens, so you take it for granted. But you're just meant to be born and live. Everything else is expectation. So that's very hard when you find out that your lover doesn't love you. But it's not your lover's responsibility to love you. If he does, just be happy about it. But you can't take for granted that he does. Okay? These are the hardest expectations because everything in you will say, but he has to be in love with you, he's your lover. No, he doesn't. Keep the expectation, you're going to suffer when he leaves. Well, I don't want to be with a lover that doesn't love me. Well, leave him. Or don't pick one. Okay, so there's a difference between and some people argue, well, I'm not going to go with someone who doesn't love me. Yes, I agree. But when you find someone that seems to love you according to all the hints that you have, be it he told you, or he really acts that way, or you have a feeling or something, well, you become a lover with him, this is what you want, but still don't have an expectation that it is the truth. Enjoy it when it seems to be true. Most of the time it is. Don't worry. But using these kind of arguments is still a way to say, I don't want to get it inside, I want the other to love me. Of course it's fun to have a lover that loves you. Still find a way to love yourself. And when love comes from the outside, it's gravy. It's extras. It's just more. It's a side dish. You enjoy it. Right? So expectations, I mean, expectation, your ego is convinced that it is absolutely correct to have expectations. And my answer is yes, it is correct. It is also correct to suffer. Alright? So this is the mind breaker, expectations. Okay? Why do we have expectations? Because we need to attain, to accumulate, and to obtain or acquire. Why do we need to acquire one thing, to accumulate lots of one thing, or to attain an objective? I want money. I want more until I attain $1 million. Why do we have these needs? Because of attachment. 3 attachments: physical, emotional, mental. Breathe. I'll take an example. This person smokes. What type of attachment is it? Okay, so some person smokes because he wants to be part of the gang. Mental attachment. Or emotional attachment. To be part of the group. This person smokes because it has a looks. Okay, the looks, I look great. I mean, that's, or because he wants to play an image. Mental attachment. He's addicted to nicotine, physical attachment. Okay? This guy plays video games, always addicted to the point where he cannot stop. It could be any of the type of attachment, so it's case by case. Okay? We have the reflex to say it's this type. Well, I don't know. Is it a physical attachment because he has the hormonal rush? Is it emotional because he's all alone and he really needs to feel part of a gang and he goes online? Is it mental because he just can't see himself as he is, so he really needs to always input stuff in there, entertaining himself to avoid remembering he's an asshole, according to his perception, which is flawed. Okay? Breathe. We have an attachment produces the need for which we'll build an expectation that will operate using different tools, power, control, manipulation, while we play a role that builds up an emotional mass that we deny. Okay? In every integration, in every pattern, in every behavior, you do all that. Right?
Yeah.
So that's the roadmap to the ego. Okay? I didn't teach you this before. The first time I taught it was only a few months ago in Amarillo. Because I want people to start to learn how to just feel. Okay, I feel. Because all this knowledge, without your experience of integration, won't come in. You'll argue, convinced that the expectation you have has to stay. Okay? But now you have some kind of experience. Each at your own level, everyone here, you did some integration, regardless of how much. You did some. Okay? And you're starting to feel, well, yeah, I did feel deception. I had an expectation, and I did feel, well, deception is an attachment that forces itself out. But you're still attached. Like, your deception is the tension on the string. I had an expectation, but the thing I was attached to, hoping to acquire it, be it a lover. Do you want to accumulate lovers? Sometimes. until you attain a certain objective. But yeah, we really do this in love, by the way. I'll just let you in a state of peace of mind for now.
Les zones dangereuses, you know. Is that,
Yeah, the danger zone. Just there's great stuff that. Well, I mean, I'm giving you the romance, so with easy examples, so you can just access it. Okay, and I'm pretending sometimes to use examples that make you react, but they're still very easy examples. Real. Okay. So you're expecting something because you're attached to it, and it's not there. So the attachment pulls and it hurts. Let go, or it goes away. The hurting, the suffering goes away. All you need to do is feel the emotion, recognize how you denied it, check the various components. And usually for an integration, sometimes you're gonna use the roadmap to identify the 7 components, the 7 aspects of it, okay? But the moment you have just a bit of experience with each of these 21 words, okay, 3 times 7, stop using the roadmap. Start feeling, and okay, emotion comes. You start with emotions, and then is there denial? No, there's no denial. Okay, I accept it. There was denial, but not now. Okay, so you just go right away to, is there a role? And sometimes you just go immediately, it's an attachment, I know, I'm just attached, I need to mourn, and okay. And then you don't always have to cover everything, okay? But then we fool ourselves by only covering 3 aspects and say, oh, I resolved it, I integrated, situation comes again. So use the roadmap. Go seek out everything that you don't want to see by reflex. If you just use your intuition, you're going to be very intuitive about avoiding it. Yeah.
I always have a problem trying to separate rejection and abandonment.
I
always
agree.
seem to come at the same.
I agree. This is a trial for everyone because guilt is very easy to identify. But the other one is just there's emotional mass. So start with that. Okay, there's emotion. It could be redundant or abandoned rejection. Mix of both. That was a nice word, okay? So improvisation has these results. So abandonment is something left, or I left, okay? Rejection, there's a combination of applied force. I am pushed away, or I feel disgusted. Okay? I don't want to see the big red clam on the bottom. Green. Red. So rejection, there's this where it's either gross or something. You're disgusted about someone's behavior, or just I despise that. This is rejection. Okay.
Even if I'm the one rejecting.
If you are the one rejecting,
then it's
you feel rejection. If you are rejected, you feel rejection. Because it's not who is doing it, it's the emotion. It's there. Okay? You can abandon someone and you'll feel abandonment. Okay? And guilt is usually easy. I feel guilty.
So rejection has more force than abandonment feels like? That's what it sounds like.
Rejection is filled, abandonment is empty.
Okay, alright.
Yeah, abandonment is you just get loneliness and this kind of sense of despair, and rejection is that there's something inside you want to get rid of. It's both. Rejection is positive emotional pressure. Abandonment is negative emotional pressure. And guilt is distortion of emotional mass.
So is it abandonment I get when I'm doing fixity and shikantaza and I'm like,
you're freaking out.
Lonely as hell, where did everything go?
Sink in there. The best solution is to stay there until you become conscious of everything that is lonely in you. And when you sink into it and you feel lonely, but there's no more suffering about it, you're just, okay, I've accepted it. I stop avoiding not being lonely. But you still sit in loneliness. It's not cool, but there's no more suffering. Breathe. fill yourself up, as if the soul was not there. And you re-embody. Don't stand in abandonment, but don't try to fill yourself up while abandonment is not resolved. Sink into it. Get into the lonely state. You know the state that you get in Great Depression? Sink into it. When you're ready, you cut your pills for 1 week, and you sit and you watch your despair peacefully without moving. You don't move. You eat minimum, you just does the minimum, you do spiritual practice, you hate your spiritual practice, you just sink into the depression. 2 days of fully absorbed consciousness in the greatest despair, you resolve a 10-20 year depression. Okay? It takes 2 days to resolve a depression of the greatest extent. All you do in 10 years is avoid doing these 2 days.
True.
Okay? So you sink. But if you sink in despair, you don't have the tools to force yourself in happiness by will. I mean, take your antidepressant. Don't kill yourself. Okay? Stay alive. By the way, if someone kills himself, hoping to avoid emotion, this person will stay there exactly in the state of emotional despair for an extremely young year. That was different. Now, you didn't stay there. You were not afraid of your suffering. You were conscious of the uselessness of this existence. You said, that was a sacrifice to evolve.
I don't see how it's different.
Because you were not afraid to face the truth. You were just in a system that would not allow you. Okay? It's different, okay? This guy's like 500 years, 600 years ago something, he made seppuku. Okay. Samurai in a state of devotion. This experience, he was enlightened, forced into a system that ordered him to be a tyrant. So it was almost a service to everyone that you would not participate anymore in this kind of tortured existence. Okay, it's not suicide. Suicide is, I don't want to see my suffering, and you dived into it. And you were ready to stay there 20 years waiting for your suffering to stay. Because if I suffer here, I suffer. It was very different. But now people, there's no way someone can use suicide as an exit, thinking, oh well, my life will not make me evolve anymore, I'm going to start over. No. You're going to spend 60, 80 years standing in the exact state of suffering you want to avoid if you suicide. Okay. This is why we have ghosts, and this is why they need me to be an exorcist when I was younger.
Well, what about people that create illnesses so they can exit? And they make themselves sick to the point
It's subconscious operation.
Yes.
It's natural force, so they will die, and they will not spend as much time, but they can take 10 years to dissolve. Okay? It's not consciously operating it. It's just dealing with the various ways of being negative. So yes, they will stand a bit in their suffering. They will suffer before they die. They will suffer after also. Okay? But not that long. They'll get into a new experience to relive it. Okay, until they resolve it. Okay. Now we're talking about ghosts and suicide, and this is not I wanted. I was trying to tell Pat, don't get to the point where you want to end your existence, and just in case it ever crosses your mind, it's worse when you suicide, okay? Well, she was never going to do it. It's mostly for everyone to know, okay? But standing 1 week without antidepressant and just sitting in suffering, it's difficult, but you have to do it once. Don't do it now. Do it when you're ready. But then every night, you do the happy facing, okay? Sitting in happy faces, and you don't feel like living anymore, but you're, I'm so happy, and feeling yourselves, and you do it for like 15 minutes to really push it, and you'll get to a point where, well, it's not that bad. I'm starting to be happy about it, you know? So you are going to process some of the suffering as you concentrate on it, with no intention. You just be conscious of something without intention, it will dissolve, okay? I'll go back to consciousness. This is the gazing of Shiva. Okay. This is the compassion of Avalokiteshvara. Okay. So, find an attachment you have. Usually they're obvious.
There are so many.
They're crowding in.
Yes.
Okay. It's an attachment. What need does it feed? Your attachment feeds a need. Okay. Acquire, accumulate, obtain, attain. Acquire can be keeping it. Okay, it's the same thing.
Protection and feeling secure. Which, that's the...
That's the double-edged blade or triple-edged blade, if it exists. Maybe a square. Okay. Where I just don't want to speak about this one because you might be protecting out of prudence and sacrifice and sense of service, or protecting because of you're afraid. Instead of so
both.
yeah, okay, both. So pick the track that you judge. Okay, so it feeds a need. You have an expectation built on that. What is it? You can just say, yes, I have expectations, or you can refine your search as falsehood, or certainty, taking for granted, or pure egocentrism. Not caring about anything else but your thing. Okay? You got that? What force are you ready to apply in which way? So is it power, control, manipulation? Breathe. As you think it, feel it. Both. Okay? You think it, you observe, you feel, you inhibit, and you breathe. So this way you are sure that you are conscious. Okay? Through this, are you playing the victim, the savior, or the persecutor? Is it producing abandonment, rejection, or guilt? Sometimes one of these components will be fuzzy, doesn't matter. Go to the other one. Okay, so abandonment, rejection, or guilt. Are you avoiding it by fear, shame, or pride? Okay? Come back here. You had a question?
I think it kind
in
of
the three
resolved
roles.
itself, but can you be playing more than one role? Like victim and savior at the same time?
Yes, but pick one.
The most predominant.
The one that just, okay, now I'm going to tell you something cool. There's one emotion. But do you perceive it this way, or that way? Okay? But there's one emotion. But if you just want to isolate or resolve the emotion, it's too subtle for the ego to just go into emotion. Okay? Usually when we just go into emotion, we like to stand on the surface. If you identify which flavor it takes, you'll access it because you'll be defeating the ego trying to just make it, oh, I feel bad, and not go into it. Okay? So this is why it's good to, okay, this one is experienced in this type of approach. Okay, same as yin and yang. So there's only one role. You play a role. But are you more like punching someone, being punched, or patching up? Okay, persecutor, victim, or savior. It just depends on. Okay, but it's playing a role. It's faking humility. It's faking compassion.
It's masked. What color the mask is
Yeah.
up to you, but yeah.
Yeah. So I fake being right about something. I persecute. I fake being humble. I'm a victim. It's shame. I fake being compassionate. It's savior. in order to attract attention. Why are you a savior? Maybe it's because you have an expectation attached on emotional relationship you're going to build with someone. I mean, if you just see yourself, oh, I've just been acting as a savior, you start with this component, and then you resolve one direction, then you resolve the other. Okay, oh, I'm a savior, so it's manipulation, and it's because there's abandonment. Why is there abandonment? I'm not abandoned, he's there. Oh, I fear being abandoned. Okay, so I've got my denial and my emotion. I fear being abandoned, so I manipulate to save. Okay, perfect. So I'm expecting what based on what need and attached to what. Okay, so you play around with these. Okay, I just gave an idea, another example. It gives you the mechanics of your mind, but you need to, it's like a kata in martial arts, okay? So you do your thing, and you practice mentally up to the point where you get into a fight. You're not gonna start doing your kata and fight, you just, you do it, you know? You fight, and it comes out naturally. So you practice with the mental structure step by step to master 21 masks of the ego. So you learn how to navigate in all the streets of the ego, all the ramifications, okay? You practice, you practice, you practice to the point where you just have to, abandonment, where does it stem from? Oh, there's control there, not to, okay, that's it. And you resolve that, okay? So this is a way to train yourself in the ability to face any possible experience in your life. Once you're trained with all this, one component at a time, one step at a time, practicing the entire roadmap on each experience you're integrating. And you can use your board, okay, and what fear is it? I don't get the fear. I do get the emotion. Okay, I'll write it, okay? You can set yourself up an Excel sheet with all the components.
It's like a Windows program.
And each column is an experience, okay? So you have title experience, he left me, okay? And then you just, I don't know which one, okay, I know the role, I mean it's victim, okay, attachment, you get this easy, and you try to fill and each time you feel, so it is a mental pattern, the need you have, the expectation or the goal and the tool, it is, but don't go think it, feel your mind, feel your thought, feel your ego as it does it, instead of thinking about it, okay? But it's normal that, oh, I'm playing victim, it's abandonment, and you fill a column and you say, well, I did the roadmap, it's still there. Yes, identifying it was wise, but you still have to sink into it until it turns into consciousness. So sometimes you're going to identify one pattern, one entire scheme of the ego, the emotion, the role, everything, every component, okay? And you're going to have to sit in there just looking at your sheet and looking at your notes or looking at yourself if you did it only by mind. And you're going to have to sit there conscious that you're in a state of control, conscious of your attachment, conscious of all of that, suffering it while it dissolves. Because consciousness is the solvent and dissolvent, okay? So identifying your pattern is not sufficient to resolve it. I've identified my attachment. I still had to sit 4 hours looking at it for it to go away. Because we just, love to hold on. Or we have cemented it a lot. And sometimes you have these emotions like Pat understands. You go into the abandonment and next day you still have some. Yes, you dig up more. You have to spend a whole lot of time in one pattern to dissolve it. But once you dissolved it, you dissolved every instance in your life that you played it. So sometimes you'd like to remember, oh yeah, remember I was 4 years old, this thing happened, it looks like the same pattern. Different situation, different people involved, different way to work it out, but it's exactly the same experience. Oh, and I was 4, it had to do with candy, and then I was 17, it had to do with receiving my blowjob. But it's the same experience. I'm taking life stuff, so you know. And then I was 21, had to do with wanting to eat tomorrow. After 3 days of starvation, okay? Because I didn't resolve the candy, and I didn't resolve the sexual interaction. So it went and attacked my survival, okay? Not eating for 3 days when you're not planning on fasting. It's not wise, okay? Don't get yourself to this point. Well, it'll happen. Okay, so that was my tsunami, and I said, oh, I should have applied it. I should have. So I did sit in there, starving, thinking about other times when it seemed to happen. Some memories will come, some will not, whatever comes, and you sit there, and I'm still suffering. I identified everything. Why is it not going away? Because the amount of consciousness you put in there to build it up, you have to put the same amount of consciousness in there to dissolve it, to make it to be gone. So these patterns you've been repeating, like, you think you've been repeating a pattern all your life. In fact, it's about 100 lifetimes. You just don't know it. So you sit there and you wait. Oh yeah, you did, oh my God, because it touches you. Same with Pat, same with her. She was, oh cool. Let's do that. Just take care of your life here. Don't go in the past life, not necessarily. Take care of whatever you remember here. It'll dissolve everything. It just takes time for you to contemplate and say, I really feel guilty. And your mind is going, yeah, well, now you have no more reason to feel guilt because you're a good guy, and then your mind is going to just try to find a way to convince you how good you are and all you bit, but you still feel guilt. I did the good thing. I know I did the good thing. But she told me I was an asshole, so I feel guilt. Guilt does not depend on if you did the right thing or the bad thing. Guilt depends on if you think it was good or bad. And if someone suggests it might be bad, you're afraid it might be, because you lack faith. So you produce guilt if someone else will blame you for something you didn't do. You still feel the emotional guilt. Remember that? Someone blames you for something you did not do or doesn't even concern you, and the guilt comes. Guilt does not require that you did something bad or good. It requires that there is doubt about you being a great person. Okay? So there is guilt. I mean, and oh, this is a trap. You feel guilt. I don't have to feel this guilt. You know, no, that's not my fault. You know, something else, it's not my fault. I don't have to go and feel this guilt. It's not my fault. Well, don't go and feel it. Keep suffering. It's not my fault. I still feel the guilt. So you need to calm your mind that tries to stay in denial. Pride. It's not my fault. Alright? You need to calm your mind that just want to justify the experience instead of integrating it. What is integration? It's something that inside that you, it's something that outside and you bring it inside. You integrate. You integrate. It's not reintegration because it was never in the first place. Okay? You just, because of the force of nature planned you this way, you blamed. The moment something happened, you blamed. It was his fault. Yes, it was not his fault, but his responsibility. He's the one who screwed up. But I feel the guilt. I'm going to bring it back inside. I integrate. How do you integrate? You breathe. You are present in yourself. You inhibit yourself. You invade the emotion. You just sit in the emotion. You allow yourself to just be completely conscious of it. You feel and observe. Until there is nothing more to observe, nothing to feel, nothing to inhibit, and breathing is natural, and you're still conscious. And now there's a hole. It's empty. After integration, you have to fill yourself up again. Happy. I teach this every time after a good seance of integration. Put smiles and happy and consciousness back where whatever you emptied, fill it back up. Or else you're going to allow natural forces to just reflow in the way it wants. Which might be good, it might be bad, it might be suffering, it might be happy, you just don't have control. Get into the happy mind state. Defeat the ego that doesn't care. And I tell you, in not so long, You'll be integrating tons of stuff, and right after your integration, start flipping the channels or open the fridge, but not putting in smiles, okay? You'll just forget about it. And after 1 year, 2 years, some people say, well, I did integration, but I just don't feel the bliss. Well, did you go into it? Did you make it? Did you ensure that that was a great event? No, you see? You see, you've been integrating so much, and you put smiles only once when I talked to you in the first place, and then you just forgot about it, okay? Come on! Okay, so does it make it more clear for you? Is it clear? It's easier just, oh, okay, great. Okay. And I've been using these examples, okay? So that is conquering drama part 2, okay? That's how do you integrate emotion? How do you do that? You have to go feel it. How come it's still there? Keep feeling. Now, if you keep feeling, but you don't identify the pattern, you don't identify the attachment, you don't identify how you deny it, you don't identify everything, it's going to stay there. Because you can feel emotions, it'll get rid of it. But you did not dissolve the ego behavior, the pattern, the animal genetic code that tells you to go kick his ass instead of be responsible. All this stuff, you didn't dissolve it. So you are going to behave in the same way and reproduce the new emotion. So you did resolve the emotion the first time, but you did not remove the tool that produced it in the first place, which was misperception, misunderstanding, bad understanding of reality. The misunderstanding of reality is he went away, she left me, or they are dead. Okay, this is misperception. The good perception, it was never mine. I'm self-contained. I have everything inside that I need. Nothing can hurt me, so why does it do? Let's find out. This is a good perception. Right? I'm gonna give you Fort Bhumi wisdom. How do you attain Fort Bhumi? The radiant. If you don't know Bhumis, you'll get this little text in PDF later on, okay? Third Bhumi is enlightenment. Fourth Bhumi is the next step after enlightenment, the radiant one. Whatever you do, do it as a divine being. Christians, whatever you do it like God. Buddhist, whatever you do it as supreme consciousness. Or Hindu, don't wait to be the incarnation of Vishnu to be the incarnation of Vishnu. Do it like Vishnu does it. You play cards? Play cards like God does.
Yeah.
Not like a human pretends to be God. Overpowering and all this. No. How? Now, we have to ask the question. What is supreme consciousness? How does God act? Self-mastery, not caring, always unattached, staying conscious. Whatever God does, he stays conscious. You make love, stay conscious. You know when the animal starts to go and you just you lose consciousness? You're gonna still enjoy yourself if you breathe slowly and stay conscious of everything. Okay? Don't worry. Some people say this is Tantrism experience. Some people say in Kundalini class, well, I want to keep enjoying sex. I mean, I like to just lose control and go out. Yes, you can still do that. You can, and still be an animal and allow your animal to have power over your soul. You can do that. But to go to Fort Bhumi, or to go to this point, you need to conquer the animal. You need to stay conscious while you are still copulating and enjoying yourself, or self-providing your pleasure. You need to get to the point where you are totally conscious and breathing slowly and allowing the energies to go wherever they want while you are enjoying. If you are repressing your enjoyment because you want to pretend being detached and all that, you're not doing it like God. God enjoys, but does not lose consciousness or self-mastery. Right? Later we give the teaching about conquering sexuality and resolving it. That was the most difficult issue for Corey. spending a lot of time with me, but not having copulation. She found it to be difficult, at first at least. Remember how you felt like January, February? You wanted to die. I'm using that because I need someone sometimes to massage my feet and stuff. So she touches me and the body just does, it's deep, you know. But now she's close to enlightenment. Whatever happens, she just stay conscious. So eventually there's a teaching about conquering sexuality, and just your animal wants to behave in some way, you just don't do it. And when you can remove even the basic genetic needs, you can start understanding how you could survive without food, and then without water, and then even without breathing. Okay. But this is supernatural ability. Mogdalyanana, he did this stuff. But the Buddha himself, who taught Mogdalyanana, the Buddha Sakyamuni did not take the time to empower these supernatural feats. So he ate, he drank, and he probably screwed his wife from time to time. And Buddhists hate it when I say this, although the Buddha said, I still do have karma. The Buddha said so. He just did not expound on how he resolved it, but he still had desire. He had no judgment about it. Okay? So, a lot of stuff that you really need to read in between the lines to get it. So, instead of trying to conquer your sexuality, conquer the animal that wants to do it his way. And just do that. That is sufficient to master Kundalini. Okay? You can still have an orgasm and have great powerful Kundalini. Just when you have an orgasm, your Kundalini will go off for a few days. Okay? That's it. Nothing evil in there. You have difficulty with this aspect of conquering your own sexuality? Resolve it. You have the roadmap. Why do I speak of sexuality after presenting the roadmap? Because most of the trials in life has to do with desire. Emotional and physical desires mostly. Most trials in life. We have the need to survive. That covers about 1% of our trials. And once you survive, there's 1% of the insignificant stuff. He called me an asshole. He said he was stupid. Huh? Like just being offended with your ego and image. No, this is anything. You wanted a promotion, you did not have it. Well, if your survival is not threatened, this is insignificant. Okay? So 1% is insignificant. This is what you think is all of it. And the 1% is really trials relating to your survival. And 98% are your experiences relating to desire. So when you were ashamed when you were caught naked once, when you were ashamed because you were not as performant as the other wanted, when you experienced this or that, you know, pride, shame, fear relating to sexuality, take these, go find the emotion, what role, what tool, what expectation of what I expected to be, like, at least able to bear a child, let's say, you know, or for someone who is sterile, or I mean, for men, just the performance aspect, you know, just resolve that. Take the time. I'm not taking much sexual examples because this is the kind of stuff I want you to resolve on your own. But go in there when you have them, okay? But before you resolve your karma experiences, you have to resolve your survival experiences. When you were afraid not to eat, when you were afraid to be killed once, when you were afraid of an accident, when you were afraid to be beaten up, these experiences that you still carry in your background, okay, you need to resolve the survival ones, and then the insignificant stuff, and then you start digging on the good stuff. Desire.
The roadmap, the 21 Mass, is that something that I could teach to the zombies I work with and that would help them?
The first thing you need to teach is feel an emotion. That's it. Just teach abandonment, rejection of guilt. Anyone, and you'll see them. Some people you just teach, go feel an emotion, and you'll see them. Some of them react, and you understand their reaction is built on either fear, shame, or pride. Not to go, okay? If this doesn't go in, stop it. Because you're going to ruin their life, and they're going to stay to hate you. The ego will build all possible defenses they can have against you because you are the key to them evolving. And the ego, he doesn't want that. So he's going to invent new reasons to hate you and avoid you. Okay, so don't do that. Okay, teach emotion. And when you see someone say, I did go feel emotion and I stayed there and it went away. And you know that it doesn't resolve anything. It just freed the person and they feel the freedom of feeling more light. So good, now they do that. So then you just teach another one. I'm teaching you the 21 masks for many reasons. First of all, you all accept the type of teaching I give. Because you've done it, and you said, well, let's try it again. Okay? And I know that. And you will review the video, and some people will see this video afterwards, and they can hate me if they want, I don't mind. Okay? They won't come to my house and kick my butt, they'll just turn off the video. Okay? Alright? So, but don't ruin your own environment, and you also check your savior. A savior pattern built on pride, okay? I'm going to show you how to heal yourself, okay? And you start teaching at the little lady behind the counter at the bar, you know, and she just wants her tip and you out, you know? And you're going to look at yourself because you see, I have the key to evolution. I know how to be done with any type of problem and how to free myself of any ego situation. I know that, and I want you to be free too. It's none of your business. Detach. Don't expect others to want to do this. Don't expect others to want to stop suffering. They pretend they don't want to, but they love it. Because you still do often. So, I mean, don't even expect yourself to be that inclined to evolution. When you start digging in the big stuff, I don't give yourself time. Okay. So, but the guys who work, one component. If they don't react to that, you give another. Okay. And if they don't react to that, you show them the video.
There's
Right?
two that I know of that could have set most of this, but most everybody else.
Yeah, because you know them. But you never know. Try it. The moment that you go beyond emotion and denial, when you start going to the roles, and now you're really picking into their shame. Oh no, he saw my ego. Yeah, there's people you think you know that you just know the first surface. Okay. And even themselves, they ignore that. You ignore like 101% of your defensive reflexes you ignore. Let's say 90% of your defense reflexes you ignore yourself. It's only when they're going to pop out you say, oh, I just did that. You know, when we're eating, sometimes we're just talking random stuff, and you behave in ways you were convinced you were never going to react against the teaching, and you want to avoid that. Yeah, remember? So, yeah, be cool with that. Be cool with yourself and give yourself time. Sometimes you're gonna take 3 evenings instead of 1 to sit in one pattern and look, how are you with this one? But once you're done with them, you're good. Okay? Like Brian, he goes a bit too fast. Just a bit too fast. Just take the time to go sit in something that you hate and stay there. Okay? I mean, he does 5-hour process sometimes in a straight line, but standing an hour in integration on one thing, did you do it? Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, yeah. But he jumps around.
Oh, well, your mind tries to avoid it, you know?
Yeah.
You need to stay focused.
Here's a question for you. What's the difference between, just to define it better, shame and pride? Because they're related, it seems.
Pressure, like fluid pressure. Okay? Shame, shame is you would go away. Pride is you would go forward.
Oh, okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, it is.
And fear you would just disappear. But you see, shame has a lot to do with guilt. Often shame is hiding guilt. Not always, but often. Okay? Fear has to do most of the time with abandonment. And pride has a lot to do with rejection. I don't want to be rejected. So you make sure you're not. And fear is, oh no, I'm going to be all alone in the dark. And all these fears mostly relate, not always, but it's a good hint. Okay? We have tendencies. Okay? and all the components have tendencies to one of the emotions, one of the planes. Like usually, they're in rows; they go together. But I never seen a good integration. Just I'm gonna take pride and go to feel the rejection behind it, and go do this and go do that, and just make a straight line. It's always complicated stuff, and makes. I feel two emotions. Yes, it's emotion. Good.
Good stuff.
Break.
Okay.